Welcome back to Beards and Brews. This week's review is going to be Predator 2 from 1990. Now, gentlemen, this is the first time where we've had a sequential movie in a series. What'd you think?
This movie, like plot-wise, story-wise, that kind of thing, whatever, action movie. Special effects-wise, to me anyways, mwah, I fucking love the upgrades of the Predator and things like that. It's a fun watch to me just because I'm a fanboy.
I thought it was okay. You're right on the plot being whatever. Like it's fine. I wasn't super thrilled with the special effects. They weren't terrible or anything. They just weren't anything that super impressed me. It was an all right watch.
Me personally, I thought it sucked. Even as a partner piece or like an anthology piece to the first Predator, Jesus Christ, what a step down in quality. Acting, bad. Effects, pretty good. Story, awful. Characters, good lord. Too sweaty. Like, I don't understand. Like, I get it.
109.
Yeah, I mean, I understand, like, heat waves, LA, all this stuff, but everybody was just gross. The movie felt gross. It's almost like it was filmed through, like, the bottom of, like, a bottle of Jack Daniels or something. It had this weird, like, orange tint to it, like Night of the Comet.
I'll tell you, having been in Los Angeles when it was 117 degrees, people don't get that sweaty because it's so dry that your sweat just evaporates.
After that little bit of information, now I'm just like sweaty and upsetty.
But this does take place in Los Angeles. This was filmed in 1990, and this takes place in the far-off future of 1997.
Ooh, just like Terminator 2, kind of. Oh man, there's a lot of parallels like that. Like, it took place in 97, so did Terminator 2's Judgment Day. The first movie had Arnold Schwarzenegger in it. It was directed by John McTiernan, and this movie feels like a Die Hard movie, which is directed by John McTiernan. It's kind of weird.
The strings are coming together. Now we just got to link it to Kevin Bacon.
Bacon.
Oh, but jumping into plot and, the synopsis of this film, it's got a weird opening. You get like this street warfare, which at first really gets your attention until it becomes so outlandish that you can't really accept what's happening.
It's kind of weird. Like, this is the time of like 90s action movies where like everybody assumed that like roughly 1997 was just going to be the end of the world. So this movie's interpretation of just like, I don't know, fucking battle-scarred LA is just like this giant race war between the Colombians and the Jamaicans, which makes no fucking sense whatsoever.
Yeah, this is, well, they're like drug kings. So you've got the Jamaican gang, the Jamaican, whatever they're called, the voodoo guys versus the Colombian cartel. And then you've got cops in there firing at both of them. Like, this is the first thing that you see. This is the opening to the movie. You said it was attention grabbing. It really wasn't to me because I don't care about any of these people. I don't know who the good guys are, who the bad guys are. I mean, I assume that, the Jamaicans and the Colombians are both bad guys, just because in 1990, if you were cast in an action movie as a person of color, you're probably a bad guy.
See, in the lore of Predator, I'm sure Brady will correct me if I get any of this wrong, is that like the Predators were there to hunt out like the best of the best, whatever field of combat they were in. So I was thinking like the backdrop of like battle-ridden Los Angeles, maybe the Predators there to find like the best Colombian, the best Jamaican fella, whatever. But they try to lay it on so thick at the beginning, like I just didn't know what was happening. Then all of a sudden, fucking Lethal Weapon Danny Glover comes smashing in on a car, killing every Latino on the street. He's like, "All right, buddy, he's over here."
So you think he's trying to get like one of each race so he can be like a fucking Captain Planet or something?
He's being diverse, goddammit.
I guess.
No one can accuse him of racism. He's getting a little bit of everything.
Well, there's a little bit of parallel I thought the movie was going to dig into. It did not. Like, maybe, like, the Predator shares a little bit of, like a Jamaican feel, like his outfit and stuff and his dreads. I was like, okay, maybe they'll put it as, like, the Predator's some kind of, like, god or something or whatever, because they hung that dude upside down.
Rasta?
Something like that, because I thought they were going to have, like, a group of people maybe worship the Predator, because he'd been around forever, so maybe they were trying to, like, please the Predator or something. Something interesting like that.
That would have been better than what we got. I'm not gonna lie. That sounds fun.
Yeah, that's where my mind was set. Like, as soon as we saw all those people get hung upside down, not by the Predator, but by the gangs themselves, like, okay, maybe what I had thought earlier with, like, him trying to, like, pick the best of the Jamaican and Colombian thing, that's where that's going.
Yeah, like a
unfortunately,
Predator
it's
cult
not.
would have been fun.
Yeah, cool.
You remember when Danny Glover arrives on the scene during this battle? They're hit. They're dying, man. And then fucking Danny Glover comes flying in his car, and you don't see him at first. And all I thought was, holy shit, it's going to be RoboCop.
That's a mashup I want to see.
Yes! Like, let's get crazy with it. Disney owns everything now, so why don't they just say RoboCop versus fucking Predator versus Terminator?
That'd be
Versus
great.
Alien.
So does that mean, like, Predator's a Disney princess?
That would be wonderful. Well, at least the Queen Alien would be. But getting back to the story, the Jamaicans, at this point it's the Colombians, and they run inside, and there's one guy that they keep focusing on. He is named the Scorpion with his ratty little shitty facial hair, and he's got dual Uzis and a cocaine addiction that would put most Hollywood to shame.
He runs in and like grabs a handful of cocaine and just like mashes it into his nose,
Yeah.
and then like puts his coke covered hand like over his heart, like he's I don't know. I liked that.
Like, he can absorb it through osmosis. Don't worry about it. But, like, I brought that up when we were watching. It's like, man, that guy's got 2 Uzis. That's Toozy.
But he's got like the cocaine all over his face, and he's like, the Scorpion is ready. The ceiling explodes, and you don't see anything happen, except for now it cuts outside to Danny Glover, who was just fucking murking everyone who isn't hot.
Yeah.
And there's a fucking explosion.
Yeah, I'm not sure why that happens.
I remember, but I don't remember. It's kind of a weird thing. I was so caught up with, like, Danny Glover just trying to be like a fucking hard ass action star, but he's just Danny Glover.
He's just Danny Glover, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm watching this with the wife and the kid, and we're probably about 30 minutes into the movie, and they both just kind of look at me. Noah doesn't know anything about Danny Glover, but the wife's like, why the fuck is Danny Glover the star? Like, he's terrible.
Not a clue. Like, I don't know why he was picked, other than, like, at this point, like, he was still, like, hot on the rails from his, like, Lethal Weapon phase, because I think 3 had just come out. It was still just like a big thing. I don't know. I honestly don't.
I'm not trying to knock the man for anything, and I'm glad that he got the role or whatever, but it just was an ill fit. Like, they needed somebody like Carl Weathers.
Yeah, I do agree with you. Like, I think he was okay for it. The role could have done so much better with someone else.
It's almost like this movie wasn't even a Predator movie at that point. Like, if you took Predator out of this movie, it would just be like any run-of-the-mill, like, action movie from the 90s.
Yeah, like, at this point, it's pretty much Lethal Weapon, which I haven't seen, but I know enough about it to say, at this point, it's Lethal Weapon, and then you throw in a Predator later.
Yeah, just sans Mel Gibson.
They run in because there's an explosion, and they're like, something's going on, and they get upstairs, and the Scorpion apparently was ready because he smokes some of the cops in the hallway and then runs for the roof, where he's, cornered by Danny Glover's character, Lieutenant Harrigan. He's like, I'm going to shoot you. And the Scorpion sees the squiggly vision heat mirage of the Predator, and he starts to shoot and gets killed, falls off, landing on a picnic table.
I feel like there should have been like a one-liner there, but there wasn't.
There is. It doesn't happen just at that moment. Harrigan's up there, and he's like, blah, 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 blah. And they go back in, and they look that somebody is killing all these people, and they're like, there's a new player in town. And they walk outside, and that's where you get your one-liner. They see the Scorpion, and he's laying face down on a picnic table with like guacamole all over his face or something. And they're like, where's the Scorpion? He's at lunch. And it's like, stop.
They should have been like that little guitar and saxophone or something like that.
That's one more thing I'm going to say. There are so many like ham-fisted one-liners, wannabe one-liners in this.
Yeah.
Like, if they had stopped at like half the number of one-liners, it would have been okay. But there's so many.
This movie is just missing Arnold. Good Lord. It's so clear that I feel like this movie was almost written for him, and he's just like, nah, I don't do sequels anymore. And then they just put Danny Glover in his place and just realized, like Danny Glover's just a dude.
At this point, we're introduced to the deputy chief, who was yelling at Harrigan like in every fucking like Last Action Hero. He's just the angry chief. And he's like, "Rrr, rrr, rrr, your ass is on the line." And he's like, "You got to catch these people." And all I could think was, "Hey man, you couldn't catch the Goonies. How you going to catch the Predator?"
Dude, that is Special Agent Johnson from Die Hard. How the fuck did he make police chief? I don't know.
He's also the villain from the Goonies, and that's the first thing.
Wait, which villain?
One of the guys, kind of like the pox cheeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's one of the sons of the big bad lady.
The Fratellis.
Yeah, that's right. Some kind of pasta.
And that's also the first glimpse we get of federal agent Judge Gary Busey.
Yeah, the captain's like, "We're losing the war out there. It's a war out there, and we're losing it. So the feds are coming in, and you better cooperate." And then Gary Busey struts in. I'm like, "Gary Busey, DEA."
I'm very Gary.
Yeah, basically, and like on cue, Danny Glover had the same reaction I did when Gary Busey busted in doors. Like fuck, he is. There's no way.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, man, like I was ready for him to tell the Prince Henry Stout story right there.
Listen, let me tell you something about my dog, Prince Henry Stout. Now this city, it's like my dog, broke its neck. He just starts like to salivate in the middle of like his speech or whatever. He just stops cold.
Like, I don't want to brush over the Precinct either, because this was to me, I really liked the Precinct, because as soon as I saw it, I was like, man, this has got such a RoboCop vibe.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
it does.
certainly.
Super crowded, super chaotic, and there's just like random people all over the place. Like you've got your hookers over here, like that kind of thing.
It's a movie trying really hard to hide its 80s-ness. You know, like, it's supposed to take place in like the late 90s, but like all these computers and dot matrix machines are around. You got like all the women with super teased hair and junk. I'm just like, you tried. I get it.
How are they supposed to know that, Hanson happens?
Damn. Now, fellas, and it pains me to say this, the next person that gets to like really come into the forefront of this film to fill out the teammate gets his crotch grabbed by the female, what's her name? Fucking, I wrote it down. Maria Conchita. She's like, grab your balls. And it's Bill Paxton.
Yeah.
And let me just be the one, like, I'll bite the bullet and say it. He is fucking awful in this role.
It's rough. It's super fucking rough. And like
he tries to pull off this like super swagger, like flirty, what's the word I'm trying to say? Almost like a womanizer kind of thing.
But it comes off like 100% skis, and like when his balls get the twister, I was just like, yeah, he probably deserved it.
Yeah, he in this, there's the Morton Downey Jr. character who's the sleazebag reporter. I think Bill Paxton would have been better in that role than he is as the fucking cop.
Oh, like when he did the whole police brutality thing and just like threatened to knock him out. It's like, you guys are the same person.
Yeah, but you get all kinds of stupid lines like the, last time you pulled this shit, the chief stuck something up my ass so far that I couldn't sit down for a week. And you're just like, what? I don't need any of this. Like, why?
Like, he's like the new guy at work who's trying to be like, he's trying to assert his personality dominance over everyone, like in a fun way. And everyone's just like, can you fucking stop yet?
The city's in such disarray, the cops are just like, listen, I saw a guy light another guy on fire. I didn't even stop him.
Yeah.
Next, please.
And fucking Danny Glover gives him the "we are badasses" speech, and it rouses nothing. It makes you, because it's almost like, we're the rescue team, not assassins. But it doesn't. There's so many parallels between this and the first that are just done wrong.
It just doesn't have the gusto. That's what I'm saying. I feel like this movie is just missing Arnold. I think you had mentioned forever ago, like this movie was written for him or something like that. So I just feel like they just plopped somebody else into this role, and that somebody's Danny Glover, and he's the leader of this team, quote unquote. He's like, listen, guys, we gotta get out there and get them, but we have to stay together.
Exactly. He already looks like the next line out of his mouth is gonna be, "I'm too old for this shit."
Yeah.
Oh man, I said that so many times watching. It's like, here he comes, good old Danny, too old for this shit, Glover.
I expected him to say it at some point. Like I
That
really did. Like they were throwing out so many like references here and there. I was kind of disappointed that he didn't.
And then we get a glimpse of what's going on at the King of Cocaine or whatever they call him. And
Oh, the Prince of Powder.
dude, it's
No, that's
it's
such
so
an
weird.
awesome nickname.
No, it's cool, like on paper, but like when you put it in a movie like this, it's just fucking laughable. I don't know why.
It was laughable, and so was the sex scene. That chick.
The way
Oh
they
my
cut to
God.
it was fucking weird. Like you
Yeah.
just had like an open shot of LA and you just hear
Yeah, and then it cuts to like this chick doing her best impression of a death metal bassist.
And what it sounds like, I think they want you to think that someone is dying. Someone's being strangled or getting their throat slit or something like that. No, it's just a girl riding.
Very awkwardly.
Yeah.
Right
Very
before
awkward.
the voodoo Jamaican posse bust in and string her man upside down and cut out his heart due to voodoo fucking magic, man.
Yeah. The amount of like over Jamaican they do for these people is it's
Okay.
like a little bit comical and a little bit like come on,
Embarrassing.
man.
Yeah.
So the only guy who does to me what was a passable Jamaican accent was whoever played King Willie.
Yeah, he
I
was
thought he
fine.
I thought he was actually a really good character in this film, but we'll get to him in a second because I don't want to jump too far ahead. It's not far.
Yeah.
But the Predator shows up. Even growing up, this is where the movies. The Predator shows up and he's got new toys and fucking a new look and he's just murdering motherfuckers. And there is this awesome, to me anyways, kill scene where the Predator's, of course, in his thermal vision and everyone's like, where the fuck is this thing? And he stabs his claws through this man. And behind him, you see like the shimmer and the claws come through his chest and it cuts back to the thermal of the Predator lifting him up screaming. And I was like, dude, that's fucking cool because it's like POV from the Predator. And I thought that was really neat.
Okay, now, is it cool? I'll give it a yes. But why?
Because it's the fucking Predator. Like,
No,
that's
I
how
get it, but like
about it.
that's the disjointment that I'm having with this movie is that like in the first one, the Predator was so fucking sharp and like everything he did was for a reason, and now he's just in LA just fucking stabbing Jamaicans and shit. I'm just like, why? What's the reason for this? Like, is he hunting for someone in particular?
He's just going fucking nuts. And that was something that, again, as a kid, in the rule of sequel, you have to up it. You have to, jump up the jazz. So he's got to not kill 6 dudes that are just amazingly elite. He's got to kill every fucking body that he sees. If you're on the train, you're going to die.
Well,
Oh,
I'm glad you mentioned the comparison with the first movie where he was just like this hunting machine. He was just like this very like alpha predator. In this, he feel like his movement feels clunky. He feels like just been, I don't know, watching TV and having a few too many snacks. He's not as fast. His movements are more just clunky. Like even when he does one of his cool moves with like his spear or something, it's like one move. All right.
Okay. I'm with you on that because that was something that did bother me. Like the way he thrusts the spear, or at least the way they filmed it. It
Mhm.
looks like it's kind of like in slow-mo or something.
yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I know they did that in the first one to give him a little bit of weight, like as he was like stomping around. But in this one, he's so slow and just so awkward. There's even a bit like when Danny Glover first quote unquote spots him on the top of that building.
Mhm.
Like he's looking at him dead, like, and then like it for him to get away was just like slowly get out of frame, just kind of squat.
Yeah, he squats down and just kind of like cartwheels off the side, like yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, one other slight little problem that I have with this scene that we were talking about is like okay, he's got all these weapons. He's got like a spear and this sort of gun kind of thing and like when he goes into his thermal like camouflage, you can't see him or you can see like his I don't know, you guys know what I'm talking about. It's like
His
almost a
distortion.
shot. Yeah, his like light distortion kind of thing. The weapons don't. So there's no way these guys don't just see like the spear and the gun just walking around the room.
Oh man, that spear totally sticks out, pun intended, because he's in that room, that suite or whatever, killing everybody, and it's just there. There's no camouflage on it. Everybody's like, "Where is he? Where is this thing?" And he's just like,
But yeah, he kills everybody in there, and there's like the whole shit happens, man. And then the cops show up, and everyone's skinned and shit. They're like, they killed the crack king. What the fuck happened? This line from Danny Glover made me kind of like put the hand to the mouth and be like, oof. When he says, everyone's got these big dialogue moments. You know, Maria Conchita, the fellow who plays his buddy Danny, Bill Paxton's character, they're all like saying things of importance. And then it just pans to Danny Glover. He goes, what the fuck? Shit. That's his whole.
he doesn't know how to do action star. Like in Lethal Weapon, Mel Gibson was the guy with like the quips and everything. He was just like the regular cop in like these weird situations. Here, when he's like in the spotlight, he's just like, oh fuck, you know.
Oh my god! You know what would have been great if they were just like, fuck it, we're gonna film it like a Die Hard. If they would have went and got fucking Carl.
Oh no, Reginald, whatever.
Yeah, whatever happened to skinning these motherfuckers?
That would fit with like the blasé nature of that particular scene, because this is a gruesome scene. These dudes are fucking filleted, hanging from the ceiling, gross all around. They just walk in, they're just like, huh, you gave up pork.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like it's whatever. And then like they find the naked lady, like she didn't have a weapon, so she's not a target. I'll give them that. And there's like, hey, what happened? What happened? And she was just like all dry, angry. He killed them while we was fucking.
Is she the one that says like the devil came for them? Like,
Correct.
okay, the devil. It's the devil.
Yeah. See, I thought the small focus on her was to just like belt out some information, maybe get like this investigation going. No, she just says it's the devil, and she's whisked away, never to be seen again.
No, because
We gotta clear out this area. This is fucking DEA, fucking restricted area. We got Gary Busey and we got Animal Mother from Full Metal Jacket coming in. Y'all gotta get the fuck out.
And they're like, clean all this up, and Animal Mother just turns around and goes, no, leave him, because all fucking should fucking hang. And you're just like, no, Animal Mother, no.
Oh man, I love Gary Busey's goons in this movie because they're all so culty, like he says something like sideways to Gary Busey as he's walking away, and this other big fucking dude comes up. He's like, yeah, you don't want to fuck with him. He's Gary Busey. Now you got to get out of here.
More to your point, Eric and Chandler, the Predator in this one is very sloppy. He loses a spear tip, like Raphael lost a goddamn sigh. He just leaves a spear tip sticking in the air conditioning unit.
Now, this particular item, apparently it's like some unknown substance because they scan it later. All these bippity-bop computers, they don't know what it is. But apparently it's extremely sharp. And Danny Glover's just like holding it like nothing, like putting it in like under his arm and shit, trying to like get things situated. Like, shouldn't you be like eviscerated by now?
Ugh. Yeah, and this is also where it gets really ridiculous. Like, they're supposed to be a well-oiled team. He tells Danny, hey man, we're going to come back at 1 a.m. and get that fucking spear tip. Wait for me. And Danny's like, nope, I'm going to do it on my own. And he gets killed by the fucking Predator.
Yeah, he didn't deserve that. He really didn't.
By the way, I don't remember this from the first one. Predator can talk?
He can record and reciprocate.
Oh, he's like a talk boy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like a fucking Home Alone or whatever.
Yeah.
Hi, kids. I'm home early.
Yeah. But the thing is, in the first movie, again, used much better. He used it as a tactic for distraction and to lure people in. In this one, he's just like, fuck you, dude. Shit happens.
Yes.
Yeah, it's definitely just used for one-liners, and in this scene, he's like, Danny boy. And I don't know where he recorded that from. I don't remember that line, so I don't know.
Look, he heard it when they were at the bar drinking, and the Predator was over in the corner. No one noticed his giant
just
shimmering
chilling.
self.
This 7'2" dude.
It is very hard for him to get a drink, by the way.
Now, in the first one, there's some scenes where the Predator's on screen and you don't fucking see him
Yeah.
until you like rewatch, and then you go, oh shit, there he is right there. And you're like, he was in the fucking scene and I never saw him. Now in this, you know he's there. He looks like someone took their finger and pressed it against the camera lens, and they're like, that's the Predator.
In the first movie, it was used to his advantage. Like, he's in the wilderness, so like everything that he's reflecting is basically what's around him. And I guess point two is kind of the same thing. He's just like in a room, you know? He's just in some room. Like, what he's reflecting is just like, oh, that's a lamp.
Yeah, or like gray walls.
Yeah, exactly. It's uninteresting, and he doesn't blend in very well when there's like very precise things floating around.
Yeah.
You should probably go back to the jungle.
Oh, this is the concrete jungle. It's on the poster. It's clever. I bet this
Now-
whole movie was just written because of that pun.
Concrete Jungle, probably. Now, Predator Concrete Jungle is a video game and graphic novel, both of which are better than this film.
I don't doubt it.
We get a what is this show called? Hardcore segment, which is like your trash TV with Morton Downey Jr. He's kind of fun. I kind of like his segments, but again, it's very RoboCop-y.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up. It's very I'll buy this for $1 kind of thing. Like, he's adding some like extra commentary to what's going on around him, but I don't know, it doesn't have the same flair, you know.
Is he related to Robert Downey Jr.? No?
I didn't even bother to check.
Can you be a junior when your name's this different? Can you
Oh,
be
that's I don't. Maybe they're cousins or something.
Downey
But the
Jr.
vibe
is the last name.
Yeah.
no comment whatsoever.
The vibe that I was getting was Robert Downey Jr. from fucking
Natural Born Killers.
Natural Born Killers. Yeah.
See, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Now, at this point, we've got dead Colombians, dead Jamaicans, and so what does Harrigan come up with? He's like, I want to meet King Willie, and okay,
And they just orchestrate it. Like, he just like this high level dude in a gang, whom
Definitely a
odds with?
high level dude.
yeah, like he is the guy, right, of the Jamaican gang or whatever.
yeah, he's top tier.
And the cops are at odds with this guy, of course, and they're just like, yeah, appointment at 5, he'll be there.
Meet me in the alley behind Checkers, man.
Basically.
But they get this limo to roll up and pick up Danny Glover, and it's just like they roll down the window, and it's like Snoop Dogg's in there. It's like smoke pouring out.
They just checked every stereotype box they could
For sure.
possibly think of. They got like the gold car with the zebra print top, the smoke rolling out of the car when he opens it. Danny Glover has to say something like, "Yeah, you need to like fucking tone this down a little bit, fellas. You know, we want to live to see 35 or some shit." It's like, all right, cool. That's the Dare campaign. 10 out of 10. Let's go.
Now, did you notice that every joint in this movie is literally the size of like a fucking 2-liter bottle?
They're so big. They're comically big.
It's like you look on the side, it just says Louisville Slugger.
Oh shit. But he gets there, and to me, the King Willie character steps out, and he looks like a cosplay pirate. But I like his accent, and I think that this character puts on the best acting performance in the movie.
Yeah, I actually wanted to see more of him, to be honest.
Yes.
He was giving off vibes of. Do you ever watch either of you the American Horror Story Coven with Papa Legba?
No.
Well, he reminds me of that guy. Yeah.
I enjoyed him because he was an actual character. Like, he had
Exactly.
something to offer, and also like a layer that, you know, that I could find out later. Like, oh, well, he's got a pocket full of phalanges. He just tossed them on the barrel. Like, oh, that means something. Maybe this whole voodoo shit has like a double meaning or something extra to give me. Nah.
Phalanges? I think he just actually went to B-dubs. Those are chicken wings.
Yeah. Super easy, 10-piece wings, tossed them out. What did they mean? It means they double charged me on my wings, man. Oh, but he has a line that I really like. Every time I've ever seen this movie, I always love it, mainly because of the way he articulates it, the way he delivers it. You can't see the eyes of the demon till him come calling. And it's just like, shit, he's a fucking cool character. And I really feel like they based Calypso from Pirates of the Caribbean a lot on that character.
Oh, okay, I can definitely see that. But unfortunately, the movie's like, oh shit, he's too interesting, and they got rid of him.
Yes, instantly, because he, number one, has a better performance than Danny Glover in this film. Number two, is a way more interesting fucking character than Danny Glover in this film. Like, I would have fucking loved to have seen just the Jamaicans versus the Predator, like the Predator hunting down the Jamaican crew, and they have to fight King Willie at the end. Sure.
Oh, then it turns out King Willie's also a predator. Shit.
What a twist! Directed by M. Night Shyamalan.
It turned out to be like almost like the Raid or Dread, like they have to like go into their compound and fight their way up.
Ooh.
Yeah. The Predator does come dropping down, and it's the same music from the first movie, and they really articulate those steel drums that and then it's got like this cool moment where the water splashes, and each step there's like ship boop of the water popping up. And I watched how they made that scene, and it's really fucking cool. There's a little track that runs under it, all this neat stuff. But this is like the apex of the movie, and then it just, I won't say it goes down, it just never, ever, ever gets this high again. So the Predator's standing there, invisible in the water, throws out his hands like, let's fucking go, bro. His reflection shows how cool the Predator looks in the reflection. King Willie pulls out the sword, he says some prayer ritual, and then screams and is decapitated. And you get to see what the Predator does with the head, which, again, is kind of cool. And then it's just like, whatever for the rest of the film.
Even that's kind of lackluster, because in the first movie, if he needed a skull for like trophy, he just tore it out of the person. It was fucking visceral and cool.
Mhm.
But like him doing the whole decapitation, I'm just like, well, that's whatever.
Something, it happened. By the way, so one little thing, another little thing. Why is there all this standing water around in this alley? It's 109 degrees out in Los Angeles. That shit's gonna evaporate in like 15 minutes.
Maybe like the Predator just like dumped all this water there so he could have a cool entrance.
He's just fucking planning it. He's like, he's gonna meet him here in the alley behind fucking Checkers, and I'm gonna be there.
That's like a telltale sign of like Predator in LA, just like a busted water main or like a fire hydrant.
Yeah, and then when I'm done, I'm gonna take his head and I'm gonna get a big Buford.
Look, man, it sounds pretty fucking good to me. Now, it cuts to Danny's funeral, and Harrigan is there like, I gotta go visit my dead buddy. It's been a day. Who the fuck arranged all this?
I think since he was a policeman, like all this is just expedited. They just expect it to happen. Like, you know, they just send out like 50 people and like 20 come back.
Damn.
Yeah, we're
They just got the
planning
plots
30
down.
funerals. We don't know who they're for, but we got 30 of them arranged.
It's depressing, yeah.
But also, there are some religions, like, I don't know what religion this fellow was, that actually say that you have to be buried by sundown the next day after your death. So, I don't know. I mean, things do happen.
Huh. So there's like a kid at the funeral, or the graveyard, I should say. He has a little fucking toy Uzi, and he sees the Predator, because apparently everyone can see the fucking Predator except for the people he's trying to kill.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And also, I thought the movie was kind of do like this little twist or whatever. Like, he doesn't have a weapon, but the Predator might not know that this little toy is a toy. And I totally thought this kid was going to get fucking yacked.
Yeah, for sure. Like, did he? Like, I don't know if they resolved that.
No, the kid was just like getting yelled at by his parents. He's like, well, but there's a thing in the whatever, I'm a kid, boom, 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 and just leaves the movie forever.
Yeah. And then the Predator puts, like,
why is he there? Like, I know through the whole movie he's kind of like stalking Danny Glover, like he's like a prime specimen or some bullshit. But like, why is he fucking there? Like, did he figure out like our burial standards? Like, if I kill this guy, he'll be at this place at 5 p.m. tomorrow morning. You know, he's just a rebel in it.
I could put his necklace in the fucking tree and be like, man, killed your buddy.
See, I actually thought, like, I didn't put together that the Predator did that. I thought it was maybe, at least at this point in time in the movie, I thought that it was maybe like the Jamaicans or the Colombians or something just trying to fuck with Danny Glover.
Nah, that'd be a smart move, and this movie doesn't have any of those.
No, because holy shit. When Danny finds it, it does the worst camera shots I've ever seen. It's his face turning a direction, then the camera turning a direction super quick, and it does it 4 different directions. He looks left, right, down, up, literally.
It's pretty awful. Like everything about this scene is just like whatever. Because like you're supposed to feel bad for the gentleman who was buried. You're supposed to feel bad for Danny Glover for losing a partner that he's had for like 15 or whatever years.
Mhm.
But he just comes off as just dumb. And
Mhm.
then like the movie kind of like understands how just awful this whole thing is and just like whisks it away as fast as possible.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like,
Right
that didn't happen. Let's move
Yeah,
on to
it's
the
like-
next scene.
It's just like, we're on a subway.
Because it was supposed to be reminiscent of the Blaine and Mac scene, but it is not.
No, they didn't have the camaraderie to earn that scene. So like whatever.
No, not at all. And man, the subway. Okay.
Dude, I almost fired off like 16 texts or whatever in our little group chat because I was having a hard fucking time.
I've got issues, and I bet they're not the same as either one of your issues.
My issue was I could barely look at the fucking screen. Like it just turned into a half-assed music video or whatever. Then suddenly
Yes.
Bill Paxton is dead. I'm like, oh,
Like, this is potential for a really fucking cool action scene. Close quarters, the Predator can do all kinds of crazy cool shit, and instead you get like strobe lights, which
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it was just so choppy and abrupt. Basically what happens, like, you got Bill Paxton and the other lady on the team. They go to the subway and they're just being cops, whatever. I don't know why they're there. Do they have like a motive?
they gotta ride the subway because
Fair enough.
you know,
Yeah, they happen upon this like little tussle between a gentleman sitting down, these punks just being punks. But turns out the guy sitting down's like, hey, call an ambulance, but not for me, and pulls out a gun and like throws it like this whole hubbub. The cops, they get in the middle of it, they try to stop it, but all of a sudden, Predator's also catching the same fucking train. He peels off the
riding on
back
top
of it.
of
Yeah, he peels off the back of it like a tin can.
okay, so how did the Predator get from across town at the graveyard to that subway train?
He's invisible.
That's the solution.
Fuck it.
Living in LA, I can tell you no one calls it a subway, it's the metro. Second of all, that is not the metro. That is that's not what it looks like in any way at all. None of them.
It's just the prop left over from Total Recall. Don't worry
Yeah.
about it.
Also, no one is going to put upholstered seats in a metro, in a subway train. That's fucking gross. Do you know what happens in there? A lot of shit. You don't want
Figuratively
anything
and
upholstered.
literally.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, see, that's what I was saying. Like, a lot of shit, as in people are just shitting everywhere. But no, I mean, it's a lot of shit because this whole scene is a lot of shit. Like, Bill Paxton gets killed here, and
I
it's
guess.
so dark that you can't even tell that whenever Maria Conchita goes back to look for him, that he's hanging upside down. You're like, is that Bill Paxton?
Yeah, I have
It
the
is.
same
Is that what
thought.
happens?
I was like, I think that's Bill Paxton.
Yeah, it's him. She's like, oh my God, it's Bill Paxton. He's hanging upside down, but last time I saw him, he was splayed out on a pool table.
She's got to be like extra sure, so he like grabs his nuts again, just in case.
Yep, those are the same
Oh.
nuts with the lump on the left one. Yep, same one.
Oh no.
I want you guys to know I like you guys. But if we're on a subway train and the monster just bursts through the roof and
Oh no.
slaughters-
Every man for themselves. Whatever, dude. Like I get it.
Yeah, but she comes back. She comes back. Like, no. And it grabs her by the throat and he's like, I'm gonna kill you. Oh wait, you got a baby? I'll just put you on a stretcher. Because like, what the fuck?
Okay,
I
so
don't know.
he shows that there is, using thermal heat vision or whatever, a child inside of her. She is not showing whatsoever, but the child inside of her is the size that he would be at like 6 or 7 months. So, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, no thought whatsoever. They just needed a reason for her to not die in the situation.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Instead of like not even just having her there to begin with, whatever. Next scene.
Now, the next scene I do like, and again, this is another childhood memory that I really liked. I had never saw the outtake, or not the outtake, the deleted scene where the Predator ripped Billy's spine out and kicked him out of the tree in the original until way later in life. And getting to see the Predator tear Bill Paxton's head off and throw his body down onto the rails and then run up a fucking staircase To me, I was like, okay, I like that.
It was cool, but like there was like a lady scream, I think, and I got confused. I'm like,
Yes.
did he just like kill some random fucking bird or like on the way out or like what's happening?
The wife and child also was like, well, who else did he just kill that yelled? And I was like, man, I don't even know.
That was Bill Paxton's way out. He just had that girly scream like Flanders.
Oh.
Stupid, sexy Paxton.
Oh, but now we get the rooftop run where the Predator's invisible and he's jumping across the tops of every car, and Harrigan sees him plain as fucking day. While everyone else is like, I don't know what's going on. And he runs up the side of the building with Bill Paxton's head, and he jumps in his Cutlass Supreme, go now, Kyle, 1, 2, 3, and fucking chases him all the way down to the meat district where he gets caught up by the feds.
I mean, I don't know that there is a meat district. I don't know that there isn't, but I did come across the other day. There was a full-on, like, fucking smoking district. Like, all of these buildings for, like, 3 or 4 blocks are just dedicated to, like, warehouses of, like, wholesale smoking supplies. So there's probably a district for just about everything. Anyway.
Yeah, he gets whisked away into Command Central, which is like a fucking Winnebago.
Yeah, like a long Winnebago. They have all these fucking gadgets that just bleep and bloop and these screens that show stuff. And
Yeah.
everybody in there is just dressed like a microwave dinner.
Everybody's all shiny and silvery. Don't worry about it.
I'm glad that all of Hollywood just agrees that the future is just chrome.
Yeah.
Witness me.
But this is when we find out Gary Busey's character knows exactly what's going on. All right, that's an alien.
Mhm.
Otherworld life forms. A fucking alien. Cambodia and Iwo Jima and yeah.
Batonga.
Batonga.
Now, I did think that the writing for Danny Glover in this scene was an injustice. He's like an otherworldly life form. And Danny Glover literally, this isn't like a joke, goes, huh?
Yeah, like I get like he could be like so shocked, like he doesn't quite put it together, but come on, clearly.
Yeah, you're looking at these dudes and they're like, we're following it with its scent molecules. We're gonna freeze it in these fucking suits we're wearing. And he's like,
Oh
"I
my
get
god,
it."
that shit had me rolling. Like they all jump in their Predator Buster outfits and fucking march out of this thing. And they just go to the fucking meat factory with cows hanging everywhere, like they're trying to run the gauntlet on the guy.
Speaking of running the gauntlet, I'm about to run this one right here.
Woo!
What I've got here today is Gauntlet from Black Project. They are spontaneous and wild ales. I've never had anything from them before, so this should be interesting. They call this a dry hopped sour ale with blackberry.
Ooh, I like them sour ones.
Yeah, and this is like a champagne-y pink red color, like bright magenta. But this is tart, a little sweet. You can taste a little bit of that blackberry, but it's not overwhelming, honestly. It's more tart than anything, but I do like how dry it is. Like that, there's like a hoppy backbone to it. It's not super pronounced, but like it's there. You can tell that it's there. It's not just letting the sweetness run wild. It's pretty well balanced. I enjoy this.
Well, what isn't pretty good is the fact that the Predator has to eat every 2 days, and he likes beef. They give this whole big spiel about how they're going to capture him using, thermal suits and UV lights and all this shit, and the Predator gets in there, and these dumb motherfuckers go up some squeaking ass stairs.
Like they've got like the nitrogen, like liquid nitrogen that they're gonna like freeze them or something.
Look, this whole task force was put together solely to intercept the Predator, correct?
Right.
Yep.
And the moment they intercept the Predator, they just all fall apart. Like, I don't understand how every bit of information communicated to these guys was just completely thrown out the window and they wind up getting slaughtered. What the fuck? And they had so much time to prepare. Like, this guy's like, hey, they're coming up on your 6. You're like, what? Yes, he's right behind you, dude. What?
Turn your
Yeah,
fucking lights out.
Yeah, he's gonna drop down and fucking slice you up to pieces. I don't believe you. And he does.
Get
Now-
off this channel.
This happened because this was planned by Gary Busey, and we know that Gary Busey doesn't have good plans due to his last plan when he hunted Ice-T in surviving the game.
Oh no.
Exactly what happened here was they said we're going to use ultraviolet light so that the predator can't see us with his like thermal heat vision or whatever it is. They get in there and the predator's just like, huh, there's some lights there. Let me turn on my low beams. Oh, okay, we're good now.
It's just so dumb. This whole thing. Because they're so well equipped, so unready, and they have all this stuff to beat him with. It doesn't work. The fact that like 2 seconds later, Danny Glover just blows Predator away with a shotgun just shows how fucking stupid it was.
Okay, so him blowing the Predator away with a shotgun is ridiculous. He's like, pa-choo, 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 and the Predator falls down, and you're like, okay, he shot this thing 6 fucking times. It's got to be done. Goes over, takes the mask off, which reveals the Predator's new, I guess, more articulated face.
It's pretty impressive. I'm not gonna lie, it looks really good. Like the extra like spines and little spikes and everything. He's got that little extra movement in the mandible, so he can like miming the words that are coming out of his mouth.
Man, do they fucking ruin it? You're
They
one
do.
ugly mother, and then the Predator says it, and it's just like, no.
He grabs
Stop
him in
it.
the throat and he's like, motherfucker.
Yeah, but it sounds like fucking
Man.
speak and spell. It doesn't have any fucking weight.
This is also, like, later on, it sets up a really good thing because they zoom in on the Predator's mouth, and everyone who's ever seen the Predator, you're like, huh, mouth looks like a pussy. And
Yep.
Danny Glover even references it later. He's like, don't you come around here, pussy mouth.
Dude, that's the worst fucking thing that he has ever said.
But the Predator's gonna kill Danny Glover, and fucking Gary Busey comes out of nowhere. He's like, "Let me save you," and he goes, "Okay," and then gets killed immediately with some flying disc that chops a bunch of meat. Now he gets cut in half. His lower body collapses to the ground. Blood dumps from somewhere, and then his upper body defies gravity for the remainder of the scene.
Look, he is one half Gary, one half Busey, 100% pet judge. It's okay.
Justice.
Yeah, it slices through like, 10 sides of beef straight through it and then goes right through Gary Busey. Like, I did not want to see Gary Busey die there, but that was all right.
I mean, Gary Busey didn't either. It felt like this part was just because, okay, mind you, like 5 minutes before, the movie makes it seem like he just got blown away by the Predator's shoulder cannon. And like he just comes back with his face all fucking burned up. It's like, no, put me back in, coach. I got some more for him.
Like, you think Gary Busey was supposed to be in this movie longer, but the director like caught his wife cheating with Gary Busey's teeth or something and was like, let's cut it.
That's gross.
I sure hope not. Now, the Predator and fucking Danny Glover get up to the roof of the meatpacking plant where they give you what this movie, I think, does better than anything is it kind of focuses on the Predator, even though he's a lot clunkier and weirder in this one.
Mm-hmm.
You get to see a lot more of his gadgets. Now he doesn't have a mask, and he's in Smog City, so he's got like a COVID mask that he breathes into. He throws a spear at Harrigan. It misses. And then he just immediately gives up and needs to take a big, deep breath on the edge of a building.
Yeah, he's getting kind of
so
shaved.
weird.
But this is where he like scurries down and like slams through like somebody's bathroom, right?
Oh, not yet, no. Here's where like Danny Glover somehow catches up to him, and they have like a side of the building scuffle or whatever. And somehow, again, Danny Glover gets the upper hand of this apex predator. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Speaking
Literally
about
the upper
both
hand.
Danny Glover and the Predator.
Literally gets the upper hand because he like cuts the hand off. Is that what you mean?
Sure, I'll take
Yeah.
it. Because I'm just so frustrated at this point. I'm just like, how? Fucking how? He just murdered a room full of people and Danny Glover's just like, I got this. No, it's not how that works. It's not cool like when Arnold like went out of his way to like put all these traps around the forest just to get the upper hand. Danny Glover just fucking bum rushes him, steals one of his weapons,
Yes.
and goes, Kia, and cuts his hand off. Bullshit.
Now, this next bit is funny as shit, though. He grabs onto a pipe It breaks. He slams through the wall and lands in this old lady's fucking bathroom and starts
Oh, yeah.
being bathroom doctor MD.
Yeah, so where did this like hot plate or whatever you want to call it come from? The Bunsen burner?
That was all in his little toolkit.
I guess. Like how?
Look, he just plopped
Hold on.
all that stuff down, made some space meth, and he was okay for the next half hour. It's fine.
Well, he takes like
It was the
he
blue
pounds up
shit,
the
so you
tile.
know it was good.
Yeah, he pounds out some of the tiles and puts it in this like melts down some in this like what do you call it? Like a crucible or it's like a hot plate kind of thing. Then he starts using it as like Bondo on himself.
And like this was all just to burn time because like Danny Glover took like 6 years to get across the thing to the other building, and like the Predator still has to get away. Danny Glover's hot on his trail for whatever reason, so he busts through the door in front of old Granny, and she's just like, "Oh, that's kind of weird." And then Danny Glover bursts through. She's like, "Oh, a black man."
Yes.
And he's like, "Don't worry, ma'am. I'm a cop. I don't think he gives a shit."
Now, I want to hear your all's opinion on the fact that this creature just literally busted through the side of her house.
Hmm.
The entire side of her house. She was watching Jeopardy, didn't hear a bit of it.
R.I.P. Alex Trebek, by the way.
He starts putting the meds on, shoots himself with the biggest fucking needle I've ever seen in my life, and all of a sudden she's like, I got a broom, I'm gonna stop him, and he's like, fuck this, and starts kicking down doors and shit.
What I thought you were going to bring up was he slammed through her, like, the bricks in her bathroom, like, busted right through. But she doesn't hear anything until, like, I don't know, he's applying the Bondo with the putty knife or whatever he's doing, or using the syringe. And then she's like, Don, I think there's somebody in the bathroom. Like, you didn't hear the massive crumbling of the wall.
Listen, like you either check to see what's wrong or you go for that true daily double. Come on, Alex, let's go.
Oh, because the real thing to be worried about is the fact that she's like, Don, there's another flaming bag of poop.
He called the shit poop. Oh, Christ. Like, this is all just an attempt for the movie to get Danny Glover and the Predator into his, like, little hideout, his little space station, or spaceship underground.
Yeah, like, I thought this was a cave at first. They go down the elevator shaft, and, like, I guess Danny Glover, like, he falls down, breaks his fall, then falls down again. He ends up fine. All right, whatever. And then, like, they go into this, like, intricately carved tunnel system, or at least what I thought was a tunnel system. Turns out, that's a spaceship.
Sure is. And that's where he's been hiding, like, his home base this entire time. For maybe 300 plus years or something.
You don't think anybody in the development of Los Angeles, like,
fucking people would have to check on that elevator. Okay, you guys have seen Schindler.
Yeah, and what? Oh, yeah. I thought you were talking about the list. No. And to build that building in the first place, you would have to, inspect underneath and plant, like, the foundation. Like,
look, I mean, sometimes he would have to get odd jobs to make sure he was safe and secure. So what you're trying to say is that Predator moonlighted as a contractor.
Oh man, that would be a good one. Like, it just shows him. He's got an apartment. He's sitting there with his feet up and a lazy boy, just like drinking some soda, eating a side of beef.
I'm just 100% on the picture of just like Predator in full regalia with a hard hat.
Yeah, and he's got a pager that keeps beeping and he looks depressed.
I'm more imagining him like, feet up in the recliner, wearing a wife beater, trying to watch whatever trash TV is on, like, while he's got, like, a Coke in his hand. Like,
also trying to watch Jeopardy.
I told you to leave me alone.
Yes.
My story's on.
But now they're down there, and there's, like, a really fucking cool shot of this trophy wall. And it's got, like, a xenomorph head on it from the Alien franchise.
Yep.
And I remember being young and seeing that going, oh my god, yes!
Yeah, like, not knowing where this is going and seeing, all of those skulls, including the xenomorph skull. Yeah, I would have been like, oh shit, crossover time! But knowing that it's going to lead to Alien versus Predator.
Something about space tampons, that's all I remember.
Oh man, yeah.
But fortunately and unfortunately, there's like a fairly good fight scene coming up between Predator and Danny Glover, but then you remember it's against Danny Glover.
Exactly.
It's just so clunk and so just. He's clearly an 80-year-old man.
Struggling, and Kevin Peter Hall's like, I'm gonna touch you gently.
His one move is just like parry, kind of.
Kind of, yeah. Does the same guy play Predator in both this and the original?
Correct.
Correct. Now, his parry is enough to kill the Predator. I was fucking mind blown.
It's so unsatisfying how he gets the upper hand again, just somehow, because I think the movie alludes to him kind of getting sliced in the belly, so he kind of like takes the knees like, oh, too old for this shit,
Yeah.
and then Danny Glover's just like, gotcha, bitch, and just like, no, that's not how any of this works. Who hired this man?
This guy's been the apex predator on this. That's what he is. On this planet for hundreds of years. Gets taken out by a 50-year-old man.
He gets taken out by a beat cop. Are you kidding me?
In the sense of beat as in beat cop and beat as in broke ass.
Ass. Yeah.
Once he's dead, I did really enjoy the fact that there's all these other predators that come out, carry off the fallen predator, and then there's this one that is the elder. And I remember watching this, previously, when I was younger, and really being like, man, that fucking predator looks amazing. I hope he's in the next one.
I haven't seen the next one. Is he?
No.
There is no next one, technically.
Oh.
Like, Predator is like in that weird thing like Terminator is, where you can just like, you can have your own headcanon, like whatever direction the movies go eventually.
Well,
he kills him. The elder predator gives him a flintlock from the 1700s, basically showing that the predators can live for like umpteen years. Who knows? 300. And they like, peace out, bitch. And he's like,
yeah, 100%. The fucking gun thing was super cool. Just to let them know they've been there for fucking ever doing this shit. But then they hand it to Danny Glover. I'm like, God damn it.
Exactly.
I don't even know why. Like, I'm sure there's some kind of a reason.
Because
It's like,
he
hey,
killed him.
You killed our buddy. Here's this flintlock rifle or flintlock pistol.
Yeah. It's about the sport. That's why. Like, I get it. It's still a cool concept, but fuck, it's Danny Glover. He didn't deserve it.
I completely agree. It's a cool scene wasted on that character, and then we get a literal Die Hard ending.
No, it's basically lifted from the first Predator when Arnold was running away from like the atomic blast or whatever.
Mhm.
Danny Glover's just running away from the exhaust of the spaceship.
Then he wakes up covered in ash and looks like fucking Keith David at the end of what?
Just like Dutch from the first movie.
I don't really remember
Except for
that.
Dutch wasn't like too old for this shit.
I was gonna say he ends up looking like Keith David at the end of Volcano.
Oh yeah, he is in that movie.
Also takes place in L.A.
Damn, Tommy Lee Jones.
That's the movie.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty much it. You've got Adam Baldwin running out like, "What the hell happened in here?" And Danny Glover's just like, "Don't ask."
The DEA or whatever has been hunting this guy for years and years and years, and then like they show up and just like, "What happened?" They're gone. They're just like, man.
Don't worry, pan to Arnold. They'll be back.
Terminator. I mean Predator theme.
It's just the Terminator thing on steel drums. This film doesn't have the feel of the first one. It doesn't have the camaraderie. It doesn't have the humor. It doesn't have the action. The only thing that really comes from the first to the second is the name Predator and the creature, but it still just doesn't even get the same treatment that the first one did. He feels more, not even really clunky, just careless. He doesn't seem skilled like the first one. You don't ever have like a suspense feel or anything. I don't know. It's just a sequel.
Yeah, I agree with all that. He feels clunkier just in all of his motions, and the bit about being the only thing, like the tone isn't there at all, the action isn't there at all. It just feels like a buddy cop movie or something like that, with just the Predator thrown in. It's not the worst thing that I've ever seen, but I don't really ever want to watch it again.
Look, we've covered some bad shit on this show, just for shits and giggles, and why this stands out pretty much towards the top is because it's so directionless. It's a husk of its former self, the first Predator, and it's just so disappointing. You have all these, actors who've gone on to do great stuff, and they're stuck in this movie just chewing scenery, then thrown to the side. It's a hard pass. If you have any strong feelings about the show or the movie alone, leave it in the comment sections below.
Make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons too. Hit the little bell icon as well, so you know next time we've got another one of these brewing.
Follow us on all of our different social medias. We get that Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and a Reddit. We got a wonderful administrator constantly churning out new things for you guys. And if you don't, we'll put another one of these fucking poor Bill Paxton films to where you just feel bad that he's in it.
Yeah, pussy face.